What if I told you that in just 90 days, you could transform your team into a high-performing, results-driven machine? A team that works, seamlessly, communicates effectively, and delivers outstanding results without the drama, disengagement, or constant micromanaging. It sounds impossible? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step, so stick with me until the end. Hey, I'm Scott Brown, a leadership coach, speaker, and trainer, and I'm dedicated to helping business owners and leaders build unstoppable teams and scale their impact. Now, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss a video on leadership, business growth, and team performance. Now, let's dive in. Step 1, set clear expectations and vision. You know, the first step in building a high-performing team is clarity. Most teams struggle because, they don't know exactly what's expected of them. You need to set clear expectations, define the mission, and ensure every team member understands their role. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make when building a team is failing to define a clear and compelling vision. Without a shared purpose and measurable goals, teams become disorganized, disengaged, and ineffective. Here's how to set a vision and break it down into measurable objectives that drive results. First, start with the end in mind. What does success look like in 90 days? Before you can create a high-performing team, you must first define what high-performing actually means for you and your business. Ask yourself, what specific results do I want my team to achieve in the next 90 days? What changes in behavior, performance, or culture will indicate progress? And what would I consider a win at the end of 90 days? Let me give you some examples for a sales team. Increase monthly sales revenue by 20%. Reduce customer response time from 12 hours to 4 hours. Improve team collaboration and morale measured by an employee survey. How about an example for operations team? Streamlined internal process to reduce project completion time by 30%. Improve cross-department communication with structured weekly meetings. Reduce customer complaints related to service errors by 50%. The key tip here is, to be as specific as possible. You see, vague goals lead to vague results. And number 2, break it down into measurable objectives. You see, once you have a clear vision, break it down into specific measurable objectives that your team can track and execute. Use the SMART goals framework. First, specific, clearly defined, and understandable. Measurable can be tracked with numbers or key performance indicators such as KPIs. Achievable, realistic given the team's resources and skills. Relevant, aligned with your overall business goals. Time-bound, has a clear deadline. Here's an example for a marketing team. Your vision may be to generate 1,000 new qualified leads in 90 days. Here are some SMART objectives. First, increase website traffic by 30% through SEO and content marketing. Second, launch a LinkedIn ad campaign to drive 500 new leads. Third, publish 3 high-value blog posts per week to establish authority. Fourth, implement an email nurture sequence to increase lead conversions by 15%. Here's another example for a leadership team. Your vision may be to create a culture of accountability and ownership in 90 days. Here are some SMART objectives. First, conduct weekly one-on-one check-ins with team members. Second, implement a clear performance tracking system with defined KPIs. Third, hold monthly team meetings focused on problem solving, not just status updates. Fourth, recognize and reward employees who demonstrate initiative and accountability. Thirdly, communicate the vision to your team. A great vision means nothing if your team doesn't understand, believe in, and commit to it. So how to communicate the vision effectively? Well, first, kickoff meeting. Host a meeting to introduce the 90-day vision and goals. Set expectations. Explain why these goals matter and how each person contributes. Visualize success. Share stories or examples of what a high-performing team looks like. Make it tangible. Print the goals and post them in your workspace or track progress on a shared dashboard. And number 4, assign ownership and accountability. Big goals require individual responsibility. Once you have a clear objective, assign specific ownership to team members. Let me break it down by giving some examples. How about sales lead? Responsible for tracking and improving conversion rates. Marketing team, responsible for generating inbound leads. Customer service, responsible for reducing complaints and improving satisfaction scores. A team leader oversees alignment and ensures objectives are met. Use weekly check-ins to review progress, provide feedback, and then make adjustments as needed. A strong vision creates a strong team. Your 90-day vision is the foundation of a high-performing team. The clearer the goal, the more confident and focused your team will be. Step 2, improve communication and trust by implementing a weekly meeting rhythm. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to increase team performance, accountability, and communication is by establishing a consistent weekly meeting rhythm. Meetings should be purpose-driven, not just a time to talk, but a time to align, solve problems, and drive action. Now, here's some thoughts. Monday check-ins. Align priorities and set the tone. Purpose. Start the week with clarity, focus, and momentum. Duration should be about 15 to 30 minutes, and you want the full team participation. How about the agenda? You want to talk about the wins. Celebrate small successes from the previous week. Priorities for the week? Well, each team member shares their top 1 to 3 priorities. How about challenges or roadblocks? You want to identify obstacles that could slow progress. Also, in alignment, you want to ensure everyone understands their responsibilities for the week. Now, here's a tip. Encourage each person to answer one powerful question. What is the one thing I need to accomplish this week to move our team forward? You see, a structured Monday meeting prevents wasted time, keeps the team aligned, and eliminates confusion about expectations. And then next, you want to have a Friday debrief. This is where you reflect on wins and improvements. The purpose here is to end the week with learning, growth, and accountability. Duration still is about 15 to 30 minutes, and you do want the full team participation. Your agenda should be, the biggest wins. What did we accomplish this week? And encourage the team members to highlight their own wins. Challenges and lessons. What didn't go well? What can we improve? And then how about the next steps? What will we do differently next week? And then you also want to do shout outs and recognition of who went above and beyond. Now, here's a tip for you. Use the red, yellow, and green check-in to gauge how the week went. Green, I crushed it this week. Yellow, I made progress but faced some challenges. And then red, hey, I struggled and I need help. You see, this opens up honest conversations and creates a culture of continuous improvement. Next, encourage open and honest feedback. You see, a high-performing team thrives on feedback, but here's the thing. Many teams struggle because people are afraid to speak up. Practice psychological safety, which is the ability to share ideals without fear of judgment. This is a must for any great team. Next, ask your team, hey, what's working and what's not? At the end of the week or during one-on-ones, ask each team member, what's working well, so we can keep doing it? And then, what's not working, so we can fix it? You see, this is simple but really powerful questions that open the door for real conversations and team improvement. Another tip here is that leaders should model openness by sharing their own reflections first, such as, this week I realized I could have communicated more clearly about X, Y, and Z. I'll work on that next week. What about you? You should also use the start, stop, continue feedback method. Instead of a vague feedback, use a structured approach. Ask each team member, number one, start. What should we start doing to improve our performance? Secondly, stop. What's not working that we should eliminate? Third, continue. What's working well that we should keep doing? You see, an example of this would be start having quick daily stand-up meetings for better team alignment. Stop micromanaging small details that slow the team down. Continue celebrating wins in our Friday meetings. You see, this method keeps feedback focused, actionable, and non-personal, making it easier for teams to embrace change. Build trust through small wins. You see, trust isn't built overnight. It's built through consistent small wins. Teams that feel valued, appreciated, and supported perform at a much higher level. Next, celebrate small achievements to build momentum. Many leaders only celebrate big milestones, like hitting an annual goal. But small wins fuel motivation and team engagement. Some examples of some of these small wins could be, celebrate closing a deal, meeting a project deadline, a team member going above and beyond, a new hire successfully completing their first 30 days. In your every Friday meeting, create a win of the week moment where each person shares something they accomplished. This really fuels motivation and keeps the team moving forward. Another thing is, give credit where credit is due. Publicly praise, but privately coach. Praise publicly means to recognize great work in team meetings, emails, or small gestures like, a handwritten thank you note. But coach privately, that means if someone needs improvement, provide feedback in a one-on-one conversation, not in front of others. An example of this effective praise might be, hey, I want to give a shout out to Sarah for stepping up and handling that last-minute client request. Your problem-solving mindset really made a difference. And here's an example of private coaching. Hey, I noticed that you seemed a little overwhelmed in today's meeting. Let's talk through how I can support you better. You see, when people feel valued, they stay engaged and committed to the team's success. By implementing these meeting rhythms, feedback systems, and trust-building habits, you really create a culture of clarity, accountability, and continuous improvement. Step 3, develop ownership and accountability. Now that your team has clarity and trust, it's time to take things, to the next level. Ownership and accountability. A team that embraces ownership and accountability operates really with these principles. Ownership, this is my responsibility and I will ensure it gets done. Accountability, I am responsible for my actions, results, and commitments. When ownership is present, employees feel personally invested in their work. When accountability is strong, employees follow through on their commitments and learn from their mistakes. Signs of a lack of ownership and accountability, could be this. Team members blame others for failures. Tasks get delayed because it wasn't my job. Employees avoid difficult conversations. There's a confusion about roles and responsibilities. You see, your goal is to eliminate these behaviors and replace them with a culture of proactive responsibility. How to develop ownership and accountability in your team. First, clearly define the roles and expectations. You see, ambiguity is the enemy of accountability. If team members aren't sure really what's expected of them, they can't take ownership. So how do you fix it? First, assign clear, specific responsibilities to each team member. Define what, success looks like in their role. Document key performance indicators, again, KPIs, for measurable outcomes. Now, here's an example of vague expectations. Make sure customers are happy. How about a clear expectation? Respond to all customer inquiries within 24 hours and maintain a 90% satisfaction rating. Number 2, assign ownership for every project and task. You see, every task or project should have a clear owner, someone who is fully responsible for ensuring it gets done. How do you implement this? When assigning a task, ask, hey, who owns this? Use RACI framework, which stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. You see, this helps clarify roles. Regularly check in to ensure ownership is maintained. Here are some examples. Lack of ownership. We need to update the client onboarding process. Clear ownership. Sarah, you are responsible for updating the client onboarding process by next Friday. Let's check in on Wednesday for your progress. And number 3, use the no excuses mindset. Great teams don't make excuses, they find solutions. How do you foster this mindset? Well, shift conversations from who is to blame to how do we fix this? You see, when mistakes happen, focus on learning and adjusting rather than blaming. Encourage a problem-solving attitude instead of passive complaints. An example of a leader's response to an issue would be, something like this. Blame mentality. Why did this happen? Who messed up? Ownership mentality. What can we learn from this? How can we improve next time? And number 4, implement regular accountability check-ins. You see, consistent check-ins reinforce commitment and keep accountability at the forefront. You could possibly implement it this way. Use Monday team check-ins to align priorities. Hold Friday debrief meetings to reflect on progress. Conduct one-on-one meetings to track individual performance. An example would be Monday check-in. What are your 3 top priorities this week? Then Friday's debrief. What did you accomplish this week? What obstacles did you face? Then number 5, reward accountability and ownership. People repeat behaviors that are recognized and rewarded. If you want a culture of accountability, celebrate those who take ownership. So how do you reinforce this? Well, publicly acknowledge employees who take initiative. Offer incentives for meeting deadlines and goals. Encourage peer recognition, which really comes from team members appreciating each other's efforts. An example of this would be, first, no recognition. That's their job. They should do it anyway. 2, reinforcing ownership. Shout out to Jake for taking full ownership of a client's issue this week and resolving it quickly. Ownership and accountability are the foundation of high-performing teams. When accountability is clearly defined, consistently reinforced, and positively rewarded, you create a team that is responsible, proactive, and results-driven. So let's recap to build a high-performing team in 90 days. This is what you need to do. Set clear expectations and vision. Improve communication and trust. Develop ownership and accountability. You see, if you follow these steps, I guarantee your team will be working at an entirely new level in just 90 days. Now, if you're serious about building a high-performing team, but need a customized strategy for your business, I have something for you. I'm offering a free 30-minute leadership strategy call where I will personally help you assess your team and develop a tailored action plan. Just click the link below for a free call before my schedule fills up. Let's build a team that thrives. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more leadership insights. Drop a comment below and really tell me what's the biggest challenge you're facing with your team right now. I'd love to help.